Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center in Lower Lake. And everyone is muted. Great. So I'd like to introduce Reverend Angelica. She is an ordained interfaith minister, and we're honored to have you with us today to begin our service with the opening prayer and then whatever flows, music and whatever. So then, all right, Angelica.
So I will start with a beautiful chant that is Sanskrit, partly English, partly Sanskrit. And the meaning of it is, so the mantra, if you want to sing along, is Om Hamsa Soham. And the meaning is Om is the cosmic sound, the vibration of all of creation. Hamsa is the swan, and it represents the soul or the breath, the essence of who we are. And Soham means that I am, or I am that. So it signifies oneness with the universal self, the Brahma. And through the breath awareness, connecting us to the soul, to the divine essence. And you know, that is a big secret. Breath awareness, just to be aware of each breath, it brings us into this moment whenever we practice it. So because the breath can't be anywhere else, you know, it's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's right here. That's what is our lifeline. It connects us to the great, all that is, the great spirit, the source. There is a, I think it's Aramaic, Allaha Ruhau. Ruhau is the breath of God. So I am the breath of God. So I will start with a little message from Source and then go right into that chant, Om Hamsa Soham, and you can sing along with me if you wish. And so let's focus on that breath. Just notice how it goes in and out of the airways. And just notice where we are in space, right here, right now. And just with each breath dropping a little bit more into the now and into relaxation. Letting go is not an action. It is releasing the energy of holding on. A courageous heart is willing to release what is known and familiar and is open to greet the great mysterious unknown, even when it feels uncertain. Divine will is the flow, the presence of love. And when we align with that divine will, it is not giving our will to something outside of us, but we align with the all that is, including our true self. The completeness of source, love, intelligence. When our focus and attention is there, we become that, and we only wish to think, speak, and create with that great true love within us. When nothing else is important anymore, when our mind is clear and focused on that. Acceptance is letting everything come. Forgiveness is letting everything go. Love is letting everything be. Wisdom is letting all things arise, flourish, and release naturally. Awareness is restful attentiveness. And all is forever well. Breathing in, I feel the light. Breathing out, I take to flight. In the rhythm of the air, I find a presence always there. Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham. Like a swan upon the lake, graceful moves I start to make. Every breath a sacred song, guiding me where I belong. Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham. Breath, life, unity, serenity. Inhale peace, exhale the pain. Through this mantra I remain, centered in the here and now. To the divine I humbly bow. Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham, Om Hamsa Soham. With each breath I understand I am that, and that I am.
Thank you, Angelica, as always. Gorgeous. All right, I'd like to make a few announcements just to let you know what's happening. Next week, we'll be at church and with a talk, Bondage or Liberty. And then that's when we have our potluck. And so please come and join us for fellowship at church next week. And the following week, on the 25th, we have a Zoom service with Reverend Bob Brock. Here comes 2026. He'll be talking about how we should be dealing with the change. And he is excellent and should be terrific. And Bill Barros will bless us with his music. It will be wonderful. So there you are. And now, as we go on, I would like to read to you the invocation affirmation. This is who we are. There is only one presence and one power active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. There is only one presence and one power active in Unity Clear Lake Center, God, the good, omnipotent. And finally, there is only one presence and one power active in our world, God, the good, omnipotent. And the 5 basic ideas of unity are the basic foundation. God is absolute good, everywhere present. 2, human beings have a spark of divine spirit within them, the Christ consciousness within. Therefore, they are inherently good. Number 3, human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And then prayer affirms our connection with God mind and brings forth wisdom, healing, and everything good. Finally, number 5, knowing and understanding universal laws, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. And so now we're going to have Angelica. Yes, she is going to be singing for us, chanting for us, and giving us a wonderful talk. The name of the talk, The Mystery of Love and a Courageous Heart. It is now Angelica's time. Thank you, Angelica. Bless you.
Thank you, Barbara. So I am going to share a song. I actually made a music video with it. So at the local river, because it was at the local South Yuba River where I received this song. And I was going through a difficult time in my life, and it felt like an angel was whispering these words of comfort into my heart. And I luckily had a little piece of scrap paper and a pencil with me to write it down, because otherwise I would have forgotten by the time I got out of the canyon back home. So I call this Only Pure Love Remains. If you want to see the music video, just send me an email and I can send you the link. It's on YouTube, but it might be a little difficult to find. But anyway, I think my channel is Angelica Healing Music. So Only Pure Love Remains. There is nothing to fear, there is nothing to lose. You are safe and secure, it is love you can choose. There is nothing to miss or to worry about, everything is within. I guess we got interrupted. There's a world that can't fade and a peace that abides just behind this veil that you see with your eyes. You are whole and complete. Let all doubts fly away. When they all disappear, only pure love remains. What you need is inside, ever present and sure. There is no need to hide, you are safe and secure. You have come from the light, remember always, make the darkness so bright that you can smile through your days. There's a world that can't fade and a peace that abides just behind this veil that you see with your eyes. You are whole and complete. Let all doubts fly away. When they all disappear, only pure love remains. All that's needed is here. If you only look close, just forgive every fear. Relax and let go. Let your love guide you on. Like a bright shining star, it will touch everyone, whether close or afar. There's a world that can't fade, and a peace that abides just behind this veil that you see with your eyes. You are whole and complete. Let all doubts fly away. When they all disappear, only pure love remains. So that is a really important line in that song. When the doubts and all the stuff that is untrue, that like the debris or the dross that we have accumulated, and it's not our fault, it was taught to us by other people that carried it. And when we are able to release that, to not give it our attention, not make it real, then all that is really left is pure love. Because that is what made us. Source, pure love, intelligence is what made us. We come from that. We are fractals of that divine. And of course, in a world that is so dense and so, in a way, distorted, where things are upside down and inside out, it is a real challenge to come back, to find our way back to that pure light, that pure love that we are in essence. But we might not be that in expression yet here in the human form. So it's really important to keep forgiving everything around us, every other person, because they are a reflection of what is unhealed in our own heart and mind. So to forgive the world for the way it's showing up, to forgive the chaos, to forgive everything, because we really do not know from our small perspective what is meant to unfold and how. But if we could teach ourselves to really trust, to trust the divine, to trust God has got this, So where is that disconnect, that lack of trust? Where does that come from? I think most of us grew up with some form of trauma and stress and disharmony. So most of us didn't really learn to trust life, to trust the universe, to relax into life, and knowing that it's all just lessons to make better choices, and there is nothing wrong with making bad choices. It's just the way we learn here. So in a way, everything is as it needs to be, and we don't need to be fixed. We don't need to keep trying to find this new method and that new method to fix ourselves. We are actually, all we need to do is focus on our true essence, and all that other stuff, it just becomes unimportant in a way. So there was one of the great sages of the East, Nisargadatta. He wrote a book called I Am That, and he said, "Wisdom is knowing I am nothing. Love is knowing I am everything. And in between the two, my life moves." I will repeat that. It's so beautiful. It kind of says it all. Wisdom is knowing I am nothing. That means that little self that we think we are is really nothing. It's just made up. It's a poof. It's a puff of air. It's nothing. We take it so seriously, but it really isn't anything. So wisdom is knowing I am nothing, the little I. Love is knowing I am everything. So that means in the divine mind, in the source that we come from, we are everything. We're imbued, endowed with everything that source is. And so, and in between the two, my life moves. in between knowing that I'm nothing in that little character and that I'm everything in the heart and love of the divine. In between those two, my life moves. And there is a tension in this world. We have a world of polarity. So in this tension of the opposites, that's where the juice is. That's where we are actually learning. That's where we gain the wisdom to teach this little self about the truth, the greater truth. So it's a grand adventure in a way. It's how the divine split itself into, infinite little fractals so it can explore its own nature. And when you look at the divine, it's like, if it's everything and nothing. And there is a manifest aspect of God, which is all of visible creation, form. And there is an unmanifest part of God, which is that void out of which all things arises from sheer thought. It's hard for this mind to get that, but it's God in a way is everything. It's the nothingness and it's the everythingness. And in Hinduism, they have a really neat way to put that so the mind can understand it better. They call it Shiva and Shakti, the divine couple. So Shiva is infinite consciousness. And Shiva sits on the mountaintops in the Himalayas and he meditates for 1,000 years. And then Shakti, Parvati, his wife, comes along. She's the divine mother. She's everything. She's creation itself. So she comes along and she rattles him awake. She goes, Shiva, it's time to create a new world. So they make love, they dance, they do this thing. And from his consciousness and her creation energy comes the universe, or universes or galaxies. And it's just a dance. It's such an amazing, awesome, beautiful dance that we can't even grasp it, but we can in our heart appreciate it. Because in every simple little thing that we see, every leaf, every blade of grass, that principle is made visible. It's just our minds are so jaded. They're so used to not notice the miracles that are everywhere in everything. So I keep training this mind. It's like a wild monkey. I keep training it to where I want it to be, and I'm getting much better at it. But it's maybe perfection in this world is not possible. I don't know, but I'm always doing my best. And so Ram Dass, whom you probably all know, he said whether this is the first day of the apocalypse or the first day of the golden age, the work remains the same: to love each other and ease as much suffering as possible. So what I wanted to explore today more is what is true love and what is true courage. What is a courageous heart? What is needed in these times of great, incredible, swift change that can be so overwhelming because it seems more uncertain than it's ever been. But I would say that true love is to see ourselves and the world and creation through the eyes of Source. And what are the qualities of Source? It's undivided. Even though it can play with itself in its infinite different fractals and parts and pieces and explore itself, in its essence, it's always just one. It can't even be divided, but it's playing this, I don't know if you're familiar with Star Trek. The holodeck was a place of recreation on the starship where you could experience any world. You could go in there and computer, make this world. And it seemed totally real. It was totally like this life that we're experiencing. They could do wild water. They could do fights. They could go to any epoch. They could go to any part of history. They could create their own fantasy worlds. I mean, unbelievable. So in a way, the divine is like that. It's creating all these infinite varieties of holodecks, of illusionary worlds for its own exploration. Because when you have one whole infinite consciousness, maybe it had the thought, what would it be like to explore love? well, to explore love, we would need an opposite, because if we don't have something like, for example, if you went to the movies and there was just a person meditating on a screen of light, still nothing was happening, we would probably not pay to see that movie. So what we want is excitement. We want a story. We want a hero and a villain, and we want to see how does this character in the movie work out its challenges. How does he or she work this through? And we're so fascinated by that. Well, that's the divine in us. It's fascinated with the journeys, with the stories, the heroes and the villains. And we all have played different roles. We've all played all the different roles. We've been villains, we've been heroes, we've been everything. So why not now focus in this lifetime of the great awakening journey to bring it all back together into the courageous heart, into the sacred heart. And one of the main aspects of the divine is it doesn't have any judgment. Zero. There is zero judgment. It's just exploring itself. So what looks really horrible to us and unforgivable to the divine, there is no judgment. And maybe this mind cannot even go there. Maybe these minds cannot even get that at all. But there is no judgment. There is only experiences. So if we could get even a little bit closer, just a little wee bit closer to seeing and experiencing life in that way, no judgment. Like, reflect for a moment, how many times a day do you judge yourself? What are the automatic internalized voices of, you should have done this, or then it goes out to others, oh, look at this person, how stupid they are, look at this politician, this is outrageous, should not be. So in a way, it's all the should not be in us that makes suffering. So, again, if with my upset, if I see something in the world or in politics or whatever where I put my awareness and attention and increase the upset in the world, does that help anybody? Does it help me? No, it just stresses out my nervous system. But if I put the energy out of peace, then I make a difference. But it's a choice. So I was testing myself. I was rooming with a friend at a retreat in the same room, and she, just before we went to bed, she says, "Do you want to hear the news?" I go, "Well, normally I would say no, but go ahead." I know it couldn't have been good. So she reads me what the latest thing was, with Venezuela, whatever, and she gets all upset. She works herself up into a froth, and I'm just internally, I'm just like taking a nice breath, and immediately my response was to send blessings to all involved, just to send blessings, to send, love and blessings to these upset people, to these upset situations, and to my friend too. And it was a really beautiful witness that there has been a lot of progress in this mind, to not go to the automatic reactions, but to bring it to the response that I believe for myself will be the most helpful for myself as well as all of creation. So that was really, really nice to see that automatically this mind went to blessing instead of cursing. I love that. So that was a victory. So seeing through the eyes of Source, no opinion or evaluation or judging. But if you see something unjust, where you can do something different, you want to tune in with Spirit and let Spirit guide you. What is the most appropriate, the most helpful action, right? And then you go. If it's demonstrating, yes. If it's voting, yes. If it's changing something in a political situation and you have the ability or the position to do so, please go for it, make it better. So I'm not talking about being passive on the outer, but the attitude from which we act, from which we contribute, is from the source essence, which is no judgment, no no should not be, no evaluation like that. It just meets everything in life as it is and then works with it in a more intelligent way. So if you would like to repeat after me each sentence, because words are incredibly powerful and they have a vibration that shifts our energy and our minds. I forgive myself completely for everything. So just repeat it in your mind or out loud. Throughout all time, space, and dimensions. Knowing now that this wonderful awakening wasn't possible until now. I thank everyone who has traveled this life path with me for their tolerance, patience, kindness, assistance, and love. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to keep going a little bit. I now choose to live in unshakable trust that Source is working in and through me, and in and through my life, through this character called, and you name yourself, this character called Angelica, in the most brilliant, efficient, beneficial, and magical ways that delight my heart and the whole universe. Why not? So I'm going to say this whole saying again, just to give it in more of a coherent delivery. I forgive myself completely for everything throughout all time, space, dimensions, knowing that this wonderful awakening wasn't possible until now. I thank everyone who has traveled this life path with me for their tolerance, patience, kindness, assistance, and love. I now choose to live in unshakable trust that Source is working in and through me, and in and through my life, through this character called, your name, in the most brilliant, efficient, beneficial, and magical ways that delight my heart and the whole universe. Why not? So we don't really evolve by chasing the light. We grow by illuminating the shadows. And that means to bring love, which is light, to all those dark places that we have stuffed into the unconscious basement in the psyche. So it's time to visit there without fear and allow it to come up. And it is coming up in the whole world. All the dredges, all the dark stuff is coming up. So nothing to be frightened about. We just need to look at it, this shadow, and be courageous. So that's the courageous heart part of my talk, is when we can look without fear at all those dark places inside ourselves, the thoughts of murderous rage sometimes, or the thoughts about the world or the violence that is still in us. It's all a part of our psyche. We have, in a way, the consciousness of all animals in us. We're on this evolving world, so all those tendencies are within us. And so we, hey Barbara, it's just slightly distracting when you talk to your friend and you make gestures. I'm just kind of a little bit like, it draws me away from my focus. So what was I saying? So we're just looking with courage at that which is within us, that which is within our depth, that we have pushed away for so long in the unconscious and didn't want to look at. When we can have courage to look at it and then bring it to the light, bring it to the divine, bring it into that loving space that would even love a child that just burnt the house down, that kind of love, then it can shift. Then it's no longer the monster in the basement or the closet. Then it really changes. So one of the questions I have for each of us is, can we deeply appreciate our life journey with all of its trials and all of its heartaches and all of its joys without judgment or regret? And can we see it through the eyes of Source, which values all things, no exception? It values all beings, all journeys equally. No exception. Nothing at all is different. It's all held in the same love. But this allowing and this appreciation, what does that look like? And I think that is a really, really wonderful contemplation in each of our lives, is that how does that look like in our day-to-day life to hold that attitude? And we will find a way. We will find our own particular way to meet that which needs to be met, which is pretty much everything. We can't leave any stone untouched. We can't keep denying any aspects of our psyche, but not to identify with it. I used to see some of what I used to judge as negative traits in myself, and I used to be horrified, and I used to judge it like crazy and go, oh my gosh, I'm beyond redemption. And then I would feel bad and depressed. I would get depressed. And so I now know that is not the way. That doesn't lead anywhere. That doesn't help anybody. So what is needed is the very best thing to do is to tune deeply within and be guided by our inner navigation system, to take a breath, deep breath, conscious, and then to take a break from the negative news, from social media, from anything and everything that brings down your vibration, and going into nature, hugging a tree, walking barefoot on the grass, dancing in the rain, connecting and reflecting and contemplating and meditating, just to tune in on a regular basis. What is it that you really wish to see in your life, as well as globally? And let's together imagine a new world, the one we would love to live in. And we will contribute more in 5 minutes of doing these things than we could in a lifetime of watching news feeds. And that is the truth, my friends. That is the truth. I cannot give my precious energy, my time, my awareness, and my focus to the psychodrama of this world. I just don't believe that I believe it will contribute to the hardship and to the chaos if I do that. So everyone counts. Every able-bodied man and woman and child counts when we can make a stand and say, I'm not participating in this. It's not my world. This is not my world. The world that is being fed to me by the news and social media and from everywhere is not my world. I put my foot down. I'm living in a different world already, and I believe that everyone can if they really want that. But it takes grace, and we need to ask for help from our beautiful divine source self, our true self. So, and let's become aware of the expansiveness and the power of our true self. Our soul is bigger than our body. It's just imagine for a moment, if you close your eyes, imagine that your soul can easily reach out in all directions. Just let your awareness reach out in all directions. in front of you, behind you, above you, below you, as far as you wish, into infinity. Beyond Earth, you can go into the cosmos. And your soul, your essence, can fill this entire room, this entire house, this entire world, this entire cosmos with love, with its high vibration. So let your soul come out of that prison of the small focus of a troubled self that doesn't even exist, that is actually nothing. It's hollow. It reminds me of a movie that I saw about Merlin, the sorcerer, and there was a witch, a sorceress in his life that was his nemesis, and she would have a lot of power over him and give him tons of grief. And in the end of the movie, he said to this sorceress, "You know what? We're just not going to believe in you anymore. We're just not going to." And then she's threatened, "Oh, I'm going to turn you into a toad," whatever. But you could just see her. She was deflating. Her power was leaving because he no longer gave her his power. He no longer consented to give her power, his fear, his worry, his ideas that she was more powerful than him. And he just said, "I'm going to quit believing in you." And she just deflated. She had no more power over him or anyone. So that's how we do it with the scary world. We look at it as this sorceress that does all these magic tricks. But is it really real? Or does it appear real? There is a difference. And then we focus on our soul expanding and filling first this mind, this body, and letting it out of the prison of this idea of the small self, and letting it fill this house that we're in, the town, and the country, and the whole world, and everything in it, and then even go beyond the world, other planets, the galaxies, the whole cosmos. So your soul is that powerful. It really is that unlimited. But again, focus on it. Go to source and let your soul be free. And identify there. Really go with that. Put all your focus, your awareness, your attention on that. That is pretty powerful. So that is a courageous heart. When you choose to do something different than the rest of the world, you choose not to buy into all these shadow plays. You actually do something different. You choose to make your own experience, your own world, and therefore you are a powerful force in this world. So who has noticed the benevolence of the universe? Who has noticed that lately instead of all the bad news? See, the more challenging things get, the more grace we receive as well. The more loving help and assistance. And I've recently become aware of when I tune in and I ask for help, it's there, it's right there, it's more powerful than ever. It is. So why should we as God's children go into some kind of illusion of hopelessness and that we're all alone and that we're, left in a scary, wild, crazy world that is unfixable? Why should we believe that when we are infinite sparks of that divine? And all it takes is to refocus and shift our focus to our true nature, to our true essence, to ask for help. It's available in all kinds of ways. There are angels, there are guides, there are masters, there are aliens. There's everything imaginable is here to help humanity at this stage. Because there are many that say humanity is worth saving. Humanity is actually quite amazing, and we just forgot. We were so badly programmed and so badly distorted that we had forgotten our own magnificence and our own power. But now is the time to remember. And in Hinduism, they speak about the yugas, which are the ages, that every 26,000 years the ages shift. There is a dark age, and there is an age of energy, and there is an age of truth. And we're shifting out of the Kali Yuga, which is a very dark time where, in a way, our earth and the consciousness is the furthest away from the central sun, which represents more source energy. And now we're actually coming to a place where it's getting really close, and we're influenced by that shift of consciousness. So that's part of why all this darkness and chaos is coming up. It has to come up to come out. It's like when we have a wound, a thorn in our skin, and it's infected. There's a inflammation and pain, and it's red, and we might even get a fever. But what we have to do is get all that stuff out. So we have to actually use another thorn to pull that thorn out, and then dress the wound and let it heal from the inside, not to keep putting band-aids on it, because we need to actually let all that stuff come out, all that infection. So it's like that with the world. It's showing its inflammation, and it's all needs to come out and be released consciously. So to be here at this time, it's incredibly exciting, but it's also incredibly scary and stressful. So I'm not wanting to downplay the challenge of it, but it's the most exciting time to be alive and to be a part of this incredibly rapid shift and ascension. It's like we're living in the middle of an epic saga like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Star Trek. We're actually characters in this incredible unfolding of a classic saga. And so the more I relax and focus on what is true, the more I actually contribute to the unfolding and the awakening and the ascension of humanity, rather than its demise, rather than its breakdown. So it requires, again, a deeper love and a deeper courage and a deeper trust. So it's all based on trust. Can we relax? Can we let the divine have this? Can we allow the divine to unfold the solution? It always has it. But to relax my system, to trust more and more and more and more, to give a smile. When I go out to town, I live in the wilderness, but when I go out to town, to smile at people. They're also stressed and so frightened. And just to give them a smile can uplift their day, can make things better. So I'm always internally and also externally, whenever possible, contributing to making a shift of the energy, a shift in vibration, a shift of consciousness, and to contribute to that actively and courageously as best as I can. And I'm not perfect by any means. I have my ups and downs and my struggles, but I'm always bringing it right back to true north, to that pole star, which is the truth, the source, the love of source, and the courage that I can do this, I can participate in this epic journey, and the divine has my back. So let's repeat this. I am worthy of it all. I come from love. I am worthy of it all. I come from love. I am worthy of it all. I come from love. So I wish for you So I'm not sure what you still heard, but I'm going to repeat that last part. I wish for you, for all of us, the best adventure for the rest of this life, to stop missing life, to stop suffering it, but celebrate everything about it, even the painful parts. Why not? Let's celebrate ourselves and our own journey. It's unique. It will never come like this again. Each one of us contributes. And no matter what, you are worthy of it all, and more than you can even imagine. Especially worthy of pure love. And our mind can't even imagine pure love, but I know in our heart we can connect. So let's relax and let's rejoice and let's just be curious on how this unfolds. So I was just the week between Christmas and New Year's, I was at a hot springs place in Southern California, Desert Hot Springs, and I did a juice fast for 6 days and colon hydrotherapy. I really wanted to reset my system, and release old energy. But I had a friend with me, and her health was not good, so it was stressful to feel helpless, not to be able to help her feel better. And no matter what I did, there's nothing I could do. And then she was in denial, I think, about the seriousness of her issues. And when we got home, she went to the ER and she got a pretty scary diagnosis with a few months to live. So, but to face that end of life with courage as well, and to know that it's unfolding, to not stress, to not go, oh, this shouldn't be, not to resist it, but to really go with it and invite all the grace and all the love of the universe. I asked her, do you pray? Do you reach out to Source? And she goes, no, I don't. So I talked to her about the importance of that. But again, came from wartime trauma, and it takes more work to train these minds when they are full of trauma patterns to really trust and ask for help. But again, it's totally possible. So I will share a song with you by Hillsong United, and it's called Oceans. And it is about that trust and that faith. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand, and I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Ooh, ooh. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed, and you won't start now. So I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. So I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine.